Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. There I am. Okay, I guess my suspension is over, so that's why I kind of chose to do this little short ditty. We can test our upload capabilities. Yes, I'm back from my week-long suspension for showing titties on YouTube. A still shot thumbnail of the theater scene from the movie um, Interview with the Vampire, the naked woman on stage. Apparently, YouTube took offense to this, despite the fact that there are literally hours and hours, not just mine, but countless other YouTube creators, hours and hours of naked bike rides, naked dance parties, naked, there can be hours and hours of that. But you know what? Whatever. I think it's pretty much well known. Silicon Valley is a hypocritical piece of shit anyway. So I mean, are we really surprised? No. All right. So I brought you here today to excuse me. One of my subscribers who I am also subscribed to. This is LocStar, naturalist. She's a very nice lady. I think that's her daughter. Anywho, I have been they calling it shout out tag whatever. Some rather copious, suspicious. I'm suspicious of everything, so don't pay me any mind. Some peculiarly, am I saying it right? Whatever. I'm extremely tired, by the way, suffering with some insomnia. As you guys know, I don't sleep well at night. Um, as well as a lot of other stuff that's going on. So what this is one of those they're survey questions. Their main purpose is to do a psych. Oh, we got PS. Why am I spelling it right? Profile. PR. Oh, see, I can't even spell right. Pro. FILE. I know I'm a mess, and you know what? I really don't feel like um reshooting this video over. So a very rough, crude video that I'm just simply going to run with. All right, here are our questions. Let's see. Question number one. What is your name and who named you? My name is Amir. My name is contraction of two words, a mirage. Society's bigotry named me. Society, when they look upon me, they see what they want to see instead of what actually is. Therefore, they see a mirage. They see an illusion of what they want to see. Um, so yeah, I do tend to be a living Rorschach. Let's see, how many siblings do you have? Six. Were you close with your cousins? This kind of makes the whole questioning really suspicious. I mean, it's like I don't want to come off like, so what? You're just sound because I've spoken of my cousins on my channel. It kind of makes you suspicious. Like, what is this question is written specifically for me? I don't know, whatever. But hey, my life's pretty much an open book. Um, which kind of makes me wonder why people do view me through such a distorted lens. There's really no psychoanalysis needed. All you have to do is ask, and I will tell you exactly what it is. But leave it to man's bigotry to constantly feel like, okay, that isn't the real answer. Let me psychoanalyze the real truth, and they get shit wrong. So close with cousins? No, no. The only family member that I am close with is my sister. Period. Finito. That's it. My cousins, I am not close to. I don't really have the energy tonight to get into that, but my biological family is very, very predatory. Um, I was thinking about this not too long ago. Just where is it? There it is. My wallet. um, I have lived in like my Republican buddy, okay, and then I had my roommate buddy, coworker, and then there were another coworker who I rented a room with temporarily, but bus driver buddy. These are people who I could quite easily leave my wallet around with absolutely no fear whatsoever of having anything stolen from me. But my blood biological family, absolutely not. Many of them are drug addicts, alcoholics, and they will do what a person, you know, uh, struggling with that sort of thing will do. And they will steal to fuel their addiction. Excuse me. Yeah, I just thought it was strange. These are people who, in some cases, like my Republican buddy, you know, I I don't want to get off into talking about him, but uh, it's like I knew the guy for less than a week, and he had me. The first time I met him, crashing, staying over the night, and you can leave your wallet downstairs on the bureau, and you're in the guest bedroom, and you're not worried about anybody stealing your shit. So, let's see, what's next? Do you have? I'm very tired and difficult reading. Um, do you have or did you have a special bond with your grandparents? Oh, definitely. My grandmommy, I'm supposed to be looking for her picture. I won't get it in on time. Ryan Van Duzer, he's asking for his subscribers to send a little 10-second, 20-second clips of, parents shouting out your mom or whomever for Mother's Day. I guess this will have to do for me. My grandmommy, I love her with all my heart. She did love me. And she said it in a very ominous way all throughout my childhood. She always said to me, nobody will ever love you the way I do. Uh, she is an unofficial adoption. I've spoken about it before. Basically, she came to know about me and my sister, and my father left us in her care for a while. There's more to that. Maybe I'll tell a more detailed story later. But yes, I was very close to my grandmom. Very devastated when she died. Died very early. I just wasn't ready to say goodbye to my grandmom. And I say that also because I know with me being a hoax denier, pandemic hoax denier, people will sometimes think that I am insensitive to the elderly. I don't wish them dead or want them just basically pushed off a cliff. Oh, you're circling the drain, granny, grandpa. Go ahead and die. No, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. I'm very much indeed empathetic. However, that being said, we do die eventually. You can't, like I've spoken with the red sun uh, angle, you can't put us in a bell jar, and you know, so it's a lot of my depression and stuff that I'm dealing with right now with the whole lockdown garbage. Was it? Did you enjoy high school? Was that number 5? Did I enjoy high school? Hell, no. No, absolutely not. I could so segue on that. I've given that a great deal of thought. My childhood was not a happy childhood. It was filled with a lot of misery and suffering. My entire life was filled with misery and suffering. It is why I have said that I still have yet to be given a reason as to why I didn't kill myself. Because you hear about people who are contemplating suicide, and were they to not do it, and eventually later in life you hear them say, well, I'm great that I didn't do it, things got so much better. Here I am, nearing 50 years old. My life is half gone. There is zero prospect of my life becoming a happy life. We saw the way my home here was dangled in front of me. The future of it is extremely uncertain. I don't know if I'll be able to afford it or not. Um, I've spoken about that, as well, and of course, now with the whole COVID thing coming, and that asks more about that later on down below. We'll talk some more about that. Um, yeah, no, high school was just it was filled with very, very, how do you describe these children? I don't want to come off as arrogant, but a lot of them just simply were not. I really don't know how to describe the children. I don't get along with. Do I want to say I don't get along with children? I don't see eye to eye with children. I don't understand children. Even when I was a child, I still didn't understand children. Anyway. What's next? Number six, what are your hobbies? I used to collect DC and action figures, Transformers, robots, when I had a stable home. Once that went away, I eventually had to sell that collection, um, because the storage just simply became too expensive. And, it, there was no prospect of me ever having a home. And apparently, I did not misjudge that, because my home situation now, it is very uncertain. There is a very real possibility that I will end up homeless again. I think my food stamps, I'm not entirely sure, but I think they are $180. The $180 might have been okay, but unfortunately, because of the price gouging from the fake pandemic, it's more like $100. So, uh, my financial future is very uncertain. So my hobbies, yeah, I can't afford to get into a hobby. By the way, cycling is not a hobby. That is not a hobby. So many people will make that mistake. I mean, it can be a hobby for other people, but cycling is not my hobby. Cycling is my means of transportation. It is my means for sustaining life. That is what cycling is. So when you get into your motor vehicle and go grocery shopping, are you doing your hobby? No, no, you're not. You're living your life. So when I get on my bicycle, hitch up my trailer, and go grocery shopping, I am living my life. It's not a hobby. Okay. Um, Number seven, what do you do to relieve stress? This question, I've heard it before, but all of these questions are psychoanalytical questions and stuff like that. Um, here's the thing about this question. When they talk about relieving stress, I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for me. Um, th- the only thing that relieves stress is the removal, the what do you call it? When you solve the problem that is causing the stress, okay? The source of your woe must be dealt with and removed, neutralized, okay? That is what relieves stress. In the context that this question is being asked, it implies that the source of your woe, it is psychological and just all in your mind, and that you don't actually have a real problem. That if you were to, oh, I don't know, what, play with a rubber ball or some stupid shit, that will make you feel better. If the source of your problem is still there after you've played with your rubber ball, then that is not relieving stress. I need my civil rights acknowledged. I need my driver's license restored. I need my rights to the road acknowledged and restored, and not harassed by law enforcement. And I need this fake pandemic to come to an end. This is most likely never going to happen. Therefore, the source of my stress is not going to be relieved. More on that as we scroll down. Let's see. Stress. Who is the longest running friend you had? Childhood friend. Dude's name is Seamus. Um, haven't seen him in about 20 years. Though nothing's impossible, I seriously doubt that we will cross paths again. So, I don't have friends. I don't believe in the concept of friendship. That's just simply my own life experience. People who have professed to be my friend in the past, of course, they always just simply flake on me. And I mean, it's like I'm trying not to say abandon, because that sounds like all needy or whatever. It's not, it's not the correct. They flake. They are wishy-washy. And you know what? There's a whole lot that I want to say about friendship. That's a whole episode that I've been meaning to do for a very, very long time. I just recently, finally, after being pestered to death, accepted my bank's credit card. I have a credit card. And the only reason why I did it is to be able to do things that are large bills that would have to be paid right away, like the septic tank service. Um, that I don't wouldn't have enough money for in my monthly stipend. But whatever it is I would put on this, it's a the card has got it's a $500 limit, unsecured. They've been trying to give it to me forever. I've been saying no forever. What do you call it? However much you put on the card, it can't be so much money that next month's check is just gonna go all toward paying off it, and then you have to use the card again. I am not trying to get into a monthly revolving credit situation. Just the kind of thing that I used to bum money from friends. I did indeed find that borrowing put a stress on friendship, and the prospect of friendship. So much more I could say on that. So, uh, it's just nice not to have to borrow. I had to get a repair on the bike. It was like 100, and a repair and some supplies, some cleaning supplies. So it all together with labor and everything came to $117, and I put it on the credit card. Put it on the card, and that spares me from having to ask a buddy, can you spot me this? And then because I get paid next week, this coming Wednesday, and so I'll be able to pay off the credit card. So what the credit card does, it doesn't give you any more money than you already have. It's not an increase in revenue. It's just simply a means of floating a bill or two without having to involve a friend or a buddy. Um, and there's so much more I could say on that, and I just and I'm tired. I'm very tired tonight. I think I'll move on. What is what what is your favorite movie? Yeah, I sat here for about an hour solid trying to get the answer to that together. I am sorry, LocStar, but it is quite literally trying to pick one dendrite, one synaptic connection, one neuron in your brain of trillions of neurons, to pick just one of so many and call it and proclaim it to be your favorite. Um, there's just too many. Just much too many. Um, However, and because the purpose of these questions is meant to do a psychological profile, given the whole oppression and being put into lockdown, I can give an answer. I wouldn't necessarily call it my absolute favorite movie, but I can reference, like how you often see me reference movies. I can reference reference a movie that speaks to quality of life, because that's what so many people are suffering with, quality of life, and that would be the movie The Hours, starring Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore, Meryl Streep, and the incomparable Ed Harris. Oh my God, Ed Harris, with those incredibly soulful blue eyes that he really draws you into the character. He did an absolutely incredible job. And all three time periods, it speaks to the quality of life, and people in orbit around that character suffering, not understanding why you are suffering. Um, so many people right now are suffering with a greatly diminished quality of life, and the tyrant governors refuse to acknowledge this, for the purposes of perpetrating their fake pandemic. They refuse to give us incontrovertible proof. They refuse to show us bodies by the hundreds per day. Okay. They refuse to reconcile the glaring plot holes. You've had how many on intake, how many on discharge? That would cause a bottleneck and overflow. However, your hospitals never reach capacity, and your MASH hospitals went completely wasted and unused. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're in the process of decommissioning these MASH hospitals that were never used. Two gigantic naval ships pulling out of port, again unused. Almost, I think maybe they treated a handful here and there, and that was about it. Where were the ill and the sick? I mean, there were people out there secretly recording hospitals, and there were people who were calling it outrageous, disgusting. Well, hey, I'm not really here to speak to the morality of it. However, you cannot ignore the fact that their footage is rather damning. Where is the crisis? I don't see it. Favorite movie? I'm sorry, I can't just pick one. The Hours, such an incredible movie. It speaks to the suffering from a lack of quality of life. What is your favorite book? Of course, everybody knows I'm a huge Madeline L'Engle fan. There are a lot of books I could talk about right now. However, my mind has been hovering quite a bit on the Time Quartet, more than usual, because I am uh, giving a lot of thought to the prospect of having to quite possibly vote for Donald Trump. That's a horrible that's a horrible thing. But our Democratic governors have gone completely drunk with power. There is a hegemonic deep state plot. Something is going on. Something. Okay. I understand when Donald Trump says deep state, that's just his way of saying, oh my God, people are blowing the whistle on my crimes. Somebody help me, save me. You know, something is going on. And to be honest with you, I haven't completely figured it out, but the whole thing is extremely strange. Something's extremely strange, and I'm sorry I don't have the mental energy tonight to really articulate it the way I want to. Book A Wind in the Door, the second installment to the Time Quartet. Uh, I say that in reference to Donald Trump. In our first installment, A Wrinkle in Time, Madeline L'Engle sets into motion, into play. She sets up her characters. We see Calvin's mother as being she could be characterized as one of the bad guys, villains. I can't really give a lecture tonight on this kind of stuff. We see Mr. Jenkins, the awful principal that this treats Meg so appallingly, you know. But in the second installment, A Wind in the Door, it is Meg's task to be able to find and name the real Mr. Jenkins. You'll just have to read these books. That's all I can tell you. Um, to find worth, to find, to be able to see past her enmity for Mr. Jenkins, and she would have to learn to see beyond. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Um, I've been thinking a lot about the third installment, A Swiftly Tilting Planet. Um, Calvin's mother, how she became Calvin's mother. It was it really was a very touching moment in the book, and I couldn't help but think of my own sister, you know. So we see the overall thought here is that we see how Madeline L'Engle went back in her next installments, in her sequels, and she would, for lack of a better term, redeem her so-called enemies, and she maps out what true evil actually is. Um, Calvin's mother wasn't born that way. Mr. Jenkins wasn't born that way. And yeah, Donald Trump isn't born that way. Something happened along the line. And right now, I don't know if the Republican Party can save America or not. I really don't know. Um, but there is a very serious threat to America right now. And the only tool I have to work with is the Republican Party and Donald Trump. And that's, oh God, you know. So all I can really do right now is just hope that there is a deep state within the Republican Party um, that can deal with the emerging enemy, assuming, of course, the GOP has not been co-opted by this threat, by this menace. I don't know. All right, those are my two hardest questions. What is this? Favorite thing to do on a stormy day? Eat butter pecan ice cream. Favorite thing to do when the weather is perfect? Ride my bike. Do you prefer big city, small town? Small town because I don't like people. I don't trust people. What is the first thing you want to do when this virus is over or under control? Unfortunately, LocStar, I don't think I'm going to survive the virus. I do believe that it is just a matter of time before they announce. I've read some yesterday. I was reading some articles in the news. They're already talking about the percentage of people who are going to be refusing the vaccine. I will, of course, be one. I refuse testing, I refuse contact tracing, and I refuse vaccine. Um, this is going to get dangerous. I believe that very much indeed, in like Mark of the Beast biblical prophecy fashion, they are going to begin to bar people from entering stores who have not accepted that Mark of the Beast vaccine, all under the pretext, guise, of spreading disease. I'm the same person that I was, a couple of years ago. Uh, no more infectious than. And of course, their latest tool that they are using to promote the fake pandemic is children dying. They know that as flu season comes to an end, that they're not going to have the flu illnesses numbers. They won't even be able to inflate it the way they have been artificially inflating their death count with really really old people who are just they were going to die anyway. Um, so once they don't have that to work with anymore, so they figure, okay, well, if we don't have a bunch of numbers, then let's just get a handful of kids to dangle in front of the people's faces. Oh my God, dead kids, these unvaccinated people, they're gonna cause your children to die. That's what's rolling down the pike. So I am looking at starvation, ostracization, being ostracized, losing even more of my constitutional rights. Um, and yes, like the movie The Hours, how far into despair will I go before I will end my life? I do believe that I will either be shot and killed by law enforcement for refusing the mark of the beast, or I'll just simply end my own life because I don't want to live that kind of suffering anymore. It's been 50 years of suffering, LocStar, and there is nothing in the future that speaks to a brighter future. So that's what's going on. I am so very sorry if that is a bleak reading of your psychological questions here or whatever. Well, now you know why I don't have friends. I don't like to bring this kind of misery into their world, into their life. So it's why I stay to myself, by myself. I don't disappoint them. They don't disappoint me. So there you go. Very tired. I think I'm gonna have some milk and peach cobbler. And then I'm gonna go to bed. If I can go to bed, I'll see. Maybe I can. Maybe I don't know. All right. I'm sorry. I don't really have anybody to nominate or anything like that. They talk about nominating people. I don't have anybody to nominate. What can I say? I live my life alone, and that's the way it is. That's it for now. Total Control 871.